Chanel versus Dior. Which brand is better for investment? Which brand has better quality? Which brand has better designs? And which one should you buy? And at the end of the video, of course, I will share if I would buy Chanel or Dior and my thoughts on that. Hi everyone, my name is Tania and I love luxury fashion and I love luxury bags. As you can see, I'm an investor in Hermes and I also invest in Chanel and Dior. So if you're a bag lover like myself or just starting out, subscribe to my channel for more reviews like this and to learn which brands are worth the investment and which ones you should pass on. Chanel versus Dior. Why am I even asking this question? Why am I not saying Chanel and Dior? And for people that can afford both and Hermes and all of the other brands, great, feel free to get both. But this video is specifically comparing the two brands since I do think that Chanel and Dior are sort of on the same level and Hermes is being a touch higher. And then most of other brands are a little bit lower than Chanel and Dior. Again, it's my personal opinion. If you think differently, please let me know in the comments because I would love to learn. Maybe I'm wrong. Side note, I love learning from you guys and I love it whenever you share insights with me. It's truly been the best learning from you and I'm glad that I can contribute to your learning and then you could teach me back. It is this exchange that keeps me going and motivates me to record videos like this. We have a lot of controversies with both Chanel and Dior. In the last few years, these two brands have used different marketing techniques and spent their brand resources quite differently. Let's start with Chanel, then we will look at Dior, and then we will compare the two brands. And then I'll share my personal opinion from which brand I would buy because, let me tell you, it's only one brand. Oh, Chanel, Chanel. Let's talk a little bit about Chanel. Chanel in the last few years has implemented some really high price increases that are just out of this world. The price of the classic flap bag, you can see them right there, went pretty much from being like $7,000 to now like $11,000. $12,000. These bags cost now more than some Birkins and some Kellys, which is absolutely insane because I do think Hermes is a much better investment and has much better quality than Chanel. So there's that. Speaking of quality, you would think if Chanel is increasing their prices this much, they would be increasing the quality as well. Or my favorite, at least keeping it the same? And the answer is no. It is a phenomenon that I don't understand. How can a brand be increasing their prices but decreasing their quality? Like, it just doesn't make any sense to me. And on top of that, they also now are playing the Hermes game. They have imposed the quota amount of how many classic Chanel flap bags you can buy per year. And shocker, it's the same as Hermes. The answer is only 2. But I have heard that Chanel sales associates will work with you and the quota limit is not strictly enforced. As well as Chanel's shoes and ready-to-wear and other pieces. Again, the prices have skyrocketed while the quality has been steadily decreasing. Before I would buy Chanel shoes, I was obsessed with Chanel shoes. I thought that they were some of the best quality shoes that you could find. And then I went to the Chanel store last year and I just couldn't believe it. Like, the quality has decreased so much while the prices doubled for the shoes as well. Unfortunately, there are still so many people that buy Chanel and so many people that love the cute designs, and let me tell you, I'm one of these people. I love Chanel designs. I was a die-hard Chanel fan. Like 10 years ago, before I got into Hermes, like Chanel was my jam. Like, I love Chanel bags, I love Chanel everything. And if I wanted to treat myself, I would definitely be going to Chanel, okay? So even with so many people boycotting Chanel nowadays because of the crazy prices and really bad quality, I think that Chanel is still doing really well as a brand. Now, let's talk about Dior for a little bit. Dior is an LVMH owned brand. If you don't know what it is, LVMH is Louis Vuitton, Moet, Hennessy. It's one of the biggest companies in the world, and that's important because Dior now follows the LVMH standard sort of growth policy for many of the brands that they own, such as Louis Vuitton. Dior started making very controversial designs that appeal to certain markets. It has been known to make Louis Vuitton successful. So we see Dior following lead a little bit there. They have been increasing prices, yes, over the years, but not as drastic as Chanel, because Chanel in 2020 just decided that, you know, they're going to increase prices 40%, you know, and then they had 2 price increases in the same year, and then they increased even more, which was like, I thought it was absolutely crazy. But Dior has been a little bit more conservative now when we compare to other brands, you know, like Hermes or Fendi or other brands. I still think that Dior's price increases have been aggressive, but not that aggressive. And while I have to admit that Dior quality has decreased slightly, it's not such a big drop as it was for Chanel as well. So I think that overall, as a brand, Dior is doing much better in my eyes with the more conservative price increases. And at the moment, the quality of Dior is so much better than quality of Chanel. It's insane. For everything, for ready-to-wear, shoes, and specifically leather goods, aka bags. My only con with Dior is that they made certain bags super popular, such as the Dior saddle bag, the Dior book tote. We saw the same strategies that LVMH does with other brands. They make something like ultra popular, they send it to all of the influencers, and they just give it out so that the whole world goes crazy, and it's like this craze, and then it dies down, and then they introduce a new product. I'm not a big fan of this strategy because I prefer classic timeless pieces, but my strategy is not the best money maker, and you always have to think like these brands do. What's the best way that we can make money? Now let's compare Chanel to Dior and see which brand makes a better investment and which brand should you buy. As I already said, I think that Chanel prices are definitely higher than Dior, at least for some handbags, and the quality is much lower than Dior in my eyes. And Dior has better prices for classic bags, such as their classic, you know, Lady Dior bag. And I think that the quality of the Lady Dior bag right now is so much better than the Chanel Classic Flap. Hands down, and it's half the price. If you do like the design, I definitely recommend buying Dior over Chanel. Now, if you want the biggest returns on your investments and you don't really care about quality, then I think Chanel is the best way to go, because again, the brand has adopted the crazy price increase strategy, and I'm only seeing that it will increase in the future. So if you wanted to buy for investment purposes and you're not planning to wear some, like let's say a bag, then Chanel is a good option. But be careful there, because the quality is so bad with Chanel bags nowadays that if you buy for investment purposes and you actually want to wear the bag, that it's not such a good idea. Trust me, because these bags now fall apart so fast. Like, I have one of these bags and it just like literally fell apart within a year, less than a year. Now, what would I do? Again, I'm an avid handbag collector, and obviously I love both brands. I love both designs, Chanel and Dior. Like, as I said, I was obsessed with Chanel designs and I still am, but I cannot justify paying the crazy high price on the bags and just getting this terrible quality, especially after Hermes bags. I just cannot go back to that. So what my strategy with Chanel has been is buying vintage, because I still love the designs. You know, the classic flap has always been the classic flap, and if you can see right there, I bought 2 Chanel classic flaps with real gold, 24 karat gold plated hardware, the most beautiful, soft, smooth lambskin, and the caviar that actually shines beautifully. For Chanel ready to wear, I'm wearing a beautiful Chanel jacket now. I also think that the prices are a little bit too high. Again, of course, I love the designs and the craftsmanship, and nowadays most of their jackets, they have some sort of polyester or polyamide, a variation of these two, so I cannot justify paying, you know, $10,000-$15,000 for polyester, even if it was handmade and whatever. But polyester is a big no for me, so I am staying away from Chanel stores nowadays, and I choose to buy vintage. When it comes to Dior, I still think that we have this window of opportunity to buy. Yes, it's expensive, and yes, it's an LVMH brand, but I still like Dior designs, and I still think it's good to buy from the store. The quality is still good. The prices are not outrageous for what the bags are and the clothes are and the shoes are. If you want to shop vintage or resale, I know you can actually save a little bit of money, which makes Dior not the best brand to invest in, but if you want to buy and for your personal enjoyment, Dior is an amazing brand. And if I liked something that Dior makes nowadays, I would feel perfectly safe, perfectly fine to go to the store and buy Dior bag or Dior shoes or whatever I like from the brand. I hope you have a lot more education on Chanel versus Dior, the different strategies that the two brands use, you know, these two high fashion houses, and a little bit of how they compare to Hermes. And if you want to buy Chanel or Dior, now you will be making your decisions based on a lot of knowledge. You'll know if they're a good investment or not, and hopefully you'll be able to pick pieces that are really high quality and that will bring you many years of wearability and joy. If you like reviews like this, don't forget to subscribe to my channel and also follow me on Instagram, because I do a lot of reviews on my Instagram stories as well as sales. Whenever I find really good luxury finds on sales, I will be posting them to my Instagram stories. As always, with love.